Good morning and welcome to today's live trading London session with Pitchforks. Let's start sharing screen and let's have a look at Forex Factory, check the news before we start. So I've got nothing coming up for Tuesday the 11th. Now I've just been on some of Chance's session, only caught the end of it. And he had GCAD for a sell, but I've marked this because there's a new scan for a buy. And that's just coming up to moving the 20 pips. So that looks like that's solidifying. Usually I don't draw them until it's 20 pips, but as I was coming on this and he had got it for a sell, I thought some of you might have been on his session. So there's the hourly. It appears actually on the hourly 30-minute and 15-minute. So there's the scan there, buy scan.
Oh, I was on his session.
Oh, okay, great. So update me if there's anything I need to know. Did you get into the GU one he had as a buy? That looked good.
Yeah, I did. We're still running now.
Very good. So that's the EU one. So I'll just wait for this to come back and break and retest that line. So put an alert on there. Let's put it, oops, just caught on the magnet. And we'll have a look at that when it comes down to here. And then there was one from yesterday, which I just wanted to mention because it was a different entry, and that was USD CAD. Which Charlie had as a sell, and it worked out brilliantly. Take that off. So it was this drop here he had. So he had a down. He'd identified the downward trend. I think it must have been here. And then he had the entry. So he caught all that drop there. So he had this entry here, I think it was. So you can see it did so there's your downward trend all the way down there. And he had the break and the retest, another break and retest. There's no quarter theory on this, but you had the pitchfork touch one, break and retest two, and then it was under the 1 minute trend and under the 62 EMA. So if you didn't catch that entry there, which you probably wouldn't have because it's still above the pitchfork, this one, it hasn't crossed the 15-minute. You could have got in either there or here. So either there or here. And then he got, I don't know if he stayed in beyond the 25, but he got his daily target. And then it dropped right down there to 38 pips. So that was one where there wasn't, and I can just see the old pitchfork there running through. So I didn't get in that one, but I would have got in there if I'd seen that old pitchfork running through. So that was a very nice one. Mustn't get too hung up on always having to have the quarter theory there, because when you look how it then hit the quarter theory, it actually just carried along the 62 and the quarter theory all the way for the rest of the day and did nothing at all. So it didn't work again as an entry until round about here. Could have had a little drop there. That only went 16. And then up here is here's another entry. And that is the break and the retest of the pitchfork quarter theory above, back to the 62. So an entry there. And at the moment it's done 17 pips. Looks like it's heading down there for 30 pips. So that's USD CAD from yesterday. You just write that down. And look at some of the other ones. Close that one. GJ, I'm just looking at Chance's list as well. He didn't have, oh, he did have GJ. But I don't know what scan he was using. I know there's some new scans as well, which I've written down but haven't done them all. So that's coming up to the extensions. Let you have, sorry, that's Euro USD. I meant to go to GJ. Get rid of that one. So he's got the orange above the blue. It's just rejected 3 times off the pitchfork. You've got an upward trend. So I presume he was looking at that for a buy. I can't see a new scan. Oh yes, there is. There's GJ hourly. But that was from the, that's nearly up at TP3. So that's the last one I've got, the 7th of August. So that is that scan there that's working its way up. So it's
so I'm in GU, but this looks like it's coming up somewhere I can stack in a minute. Another pitchfork and
GU, great. So that, I hope I've got the same, the same, excuse me.
yeah, that looks like the one.
So the orange has just crossed the blue for the confirmation of the buy. 65 pips there. So where was your entry then?
Can you see the first break above the 62 moving average?
Here?
On the right. All the way to the right. Just the one to the left of that.
There. Oh, this one. No, I'm not really.
I'll get it for you, 2 seconds.
I'm not really understanding that.
What tips does it have to make?
So that
30679.
30679. That was the last GU hourly on FX Choice, which was a sell scan the 6th of August. That's the same one on Traders Way. So I had a, I don't know if I've got that one. Right, GU. Three, 0, 6, 7, 9. Oh, okay. just there. But I can't see a pitchfork touch.
I had an old pitchfork on it.
Oh, okay, right.
I think you got one there as well.
Oh yeah, this one.
Try to have that one, but I've got the same one you have as well. That one's going up towards now.
Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, and then the quarter theory below. So that looks a strong momentum now. Let's put a trend line on. Okay, so when that comes up there, we're possibly looking, how many pips has it done now then? That'll be 30. And previous there's a line of resistance at the quarter theory up there. Come out to the 5 minute. So it has touched the median, which means we can take buys or sells. So it's just coming up to this point here. So the question is, does it want to go on its way up to the extensions? Because our last scan technically is a sell scan, or is it going to hit that point there and then start to wend its way down again to the C point? So not sure that's going to go much further up there, because technically that latest scan should take over. So we'll put an alert on there and see what happens when it gets up to that point. Okay, that's looking good. So that's GU. This is Euro JPY. So that was quite a difficult one, that one, because it touched the quarter theory. The alarm went off. Didn't give us a break and a retest, just shot up back to the 62 and then careered off up there. So not a clear, well, 2 rejections off the quarter theory, a strong impulse up, very strong engulfing buy candle, and then back to the 62. So I think if you'd read it like that, that would have been a good entry. It wasn't going to come back to this 15 minutes or the pitchfork in this instance. So a nice entry there, but a bit different from what we're used to, which is trying to find that 10 pip break, you know, the kind of the prosaic 10 pip break and retest back to the pitchfork. So that's on its way up. So nothing for us until it comes up to that point there. So I'm going to close EJ. EJ. And I think, he didn't have EJ. He had GU. he had all JPY as a setup. But his best one, he said, was that GU. Was the trade of the night, he said. Well, night time for him. So, well, orange is a buy. Let's see, where was he? 9 o'clock my time.
He was looking for it to come under the quarter three when retest, go back down again, I think.
Oh, okay. So he's looking for it to come down then. So if I put an alert down there. So when he came on at 9. Right, okay, let's do that then.
It's not reached the median yet, and it's a sell scam.
Right, okay. He's got a sell scan on that, has he?
Yeah, that's the most recent one. That's one I've got as well. I don't know if you.
Well, I obviously haven't, a bit behind then. There's AJ. That's that one then that I haven't got. Okay, so I'll leave AJ because I'm sure you don't want me to keep drawing scans while we're on, but I need to write that down. Draw scan on AJ. Don't know why, because there weren't any, and then suddenly there's loads. I think Connor said that in one of the chats. So I think I've got a bit behind. EN. Oh yeah, I was looking at that yesterday. So that did make a very nice move up here. So we had the stall out perfectly, the extensions held it. Then rejection off quarter theory, the break and the retest back to the pitchfork and the 62. That was a very nice entry there this morning coming out of Tokyo. And now it's just looks like it's the orange is going to come across the blue, and it looks like it's coming up all the way through there. That's 53. So technically we haven't really got an entry until it's up at that pitchfork, 15, 16 pips. So I'm going to put an alert there. For EN. Oh yeah, so he had EN on his list as well. Close that. GCAD. The scan I've got on this is that one from July. But let me take that off. So this is a strange one because it's one of those unusual scans where it's a sell scan, but the pitchforks are pointing upwards. So I think that's one of Chance's 5% ones. Let's come down to the 1 minute. So we're waiting for it to come down below this pitchfork here. So we've got the downward trend. I was just wondering whether to put a fib on it, whether that's too far back, I think. No, that's not going to work. That's because that point's higher up. So we've got the downward trend. We've got it below the 62, break and retest of that pitchfork. So again, I'll put an alert there. Let's see what that does when it comes through there. But we haven't got GCAD. It's my old habit. I know Warren's watching. So there's the channel coming down here. Right, so that alert's just about to go off actually. And that's already moving 3 pips. So down to there, down to that line there is about 8 pips. So pitchfork touch, yes. If we get the break and the retest, that's the second confirmation. We can't use a channel touch down here because that would be implying that we'd be going for the buy, which we're not. So I'm just using that as a level to see its downward momentum because GCAD, as you can see, is quite volatile there. So our third confirmation, we're going to have to use that. We've got the 62 has crossed below, hasn't it? A long time ago, actually. Yesterday. So we've got the 62 has crossed right back there yesterday afternoon, and it never crossed back above. So if it breaks that point there and gives us a test back, and let's look at the previous. So we've got these lines here back on that quarter theory of 1.74000 there, all this back here. And on the 5 minute, you can see it's still following that trend down. Let's come back to the 1 minute. So that is giving us a break and a retest now. So I've got a little doji candle there. What time are we? That's the half hour. So have a quick look at that. I'm sure it will give us a, so that's the half hour candle, a wick above, but it's a strong green, very strong green engulfing candle. It's just opened as a little blue buy candle. So the half hour, as you can see from all these 1 minute ones, was one big strong green candle. So that's just coming back up. And that is 5 pips. So the only thing that puts us off is that this one here went 6 pips. And it then shot back up past the pitchfork, went all the way back up here because GCAD is a very volatile one. So we've got a 5 pip break, but that doesn't mean to say like this one did here. What time was that? Oh, that was just coming out of Tokyo into London. So that was a fake out. But that's how volatile GCAD is, because it went all the way back up from the pitchfork, 20 pips back up there before carrying on its downward path. So there we are, see it's just crossed above. So that's how volatile GCAD is, but I think I'll leave that there. Let's see if it comes back, carries, because that orange, the 62 is carrying on down. So it's definitely a potential sell there. And there's the pitchfork touch with a green sell candle. So the only thing that puts me off about this is the volatility of GCAD, the fact that went over 6 pips, it still went back up after the fake out into London. Although it's a sell scan, the pitchforks are pointing upwards, which makes it one of those 5% unusual ones. And GCAD is a very well pair, 10 out of 10. So you do need that 15 pips. We haven't got quarter theory covering us. So it's not always the easiest of pairs to trade. And there it is, you see, just it could well come up to touch that 62. And that could just be a slippage at the moment. So maybe we should wait a bit till this orange comes further down to our pitchfork to give us more of a confirmation on the sell. Wait for it to come back. So I'll just keep an eye on that one, and I'll just yeah, see, that's what it does. Seven pips back up to there. So we'll leave that one for a minute. He had all JPY on his list. Oh, GCAD coming back down. So it just wicked through. So that is selling. That's only done the 5 pips there, but that's a strong engulfing candle, 4 seconds. How's this candle going to close, and what's the next one going to do? So that is selling, that one. So that looks to me like it's a sell. So I'll go in on demo on this, just so I've taken it. Come on. GCAD. Whoops. GCAD down. New order. Minus 2.6. 1.74199. 1.74199 plus 15 349 17 1.7 4 3 4 9 1 point minus 1.5 199 So that orange, the orange is still bending down nicely. It's now breaking out of that channel that we drew to the downside, which is good. I've got an old pitchfork there, which to the pip it's just rejected off. And then put a, so 199 minus those down here. Should really be off the pitchfork. I'll leave it actually, I think I'll leave it on where I got in. Should go down that far, 13, 15. So we'll see how that runs down. So that's GCAD. And then 20 pips is exactly to that quarter theory. Can't be that big a scan. Looking to see what the, oh, it is huge scan. Humongous. No, it isn't. One. Yes, it is. Didn't realise that was such a big scan. No wonder I couldn't see the next pitchfork down. So that does have a lot of potential in it. Because the next pitchfork is 100, about 130 pips away, 150 pips away. So that if that continues to plummet down, you've got very good stacking entries off the quarter theories on this one. And that is working its way down very nicely now. So the only thing that made me nervous about that was that volatility, the shape of the scan, and this break and retest was under 10 pips. But the orange was shoveling it down. It was pointing nicely down, which the difference was here. It was quite flat. And you had the Tokyo fake out into London. So that's how to read that one. But slightly nervous on GCAD because it is a very volatile pair. Sometimes in the past, not recently, but in the past, I have got caught out very badly on GCAD. So it's a bit like one of those horses you buy. It's a little bit racy for you, but you buy it anyway, and then occasionally it chucks you off. So let's see how that's 2.8 pips in profit now. So we got in just on that engulfing candle there. So we'll leave that to run. Or JPY is coming down. So I presume he had that as a sell. Let's see where that scan is. Completed the scan, back there, right. And I don't have a latest scan than that. So we've got the 62 still in buy mode, but it is pointing downwards if it's going to come across the blue. It has a big break and retest of the pitchfork there, another break and a retest there. So it looks like it's coming down here, but I think we're too far off that now. So he must have been looking at it. Downward trend. He must have been looking at it there. And that break and retest, 7 pips there. And then below the 62. So actually we weren't too far off getting in that one, I suppose, except break and retest. So say you got in there. I think that must have been what he was looking at. Down to the extension down there is, but it's still in buy mode. Technically, because the orange is still above the blue. So the orange is saying buy, although it's pointing downwards. The break and retest of the pitchfork says sell, and the pitchfork touch. Quarter theory is saying buy. So I didn't hear whether he said he was buying or selling that. I just wrote the list from, I just hopped on near the end and wrote his list down, to be honest. So there, on the 15 minute, it was still going up. So I'm not sure that is a sell. So I've got a downward trend there. I've got sort of mixed messages on this one at the moment. So really, I thought it should be buying. Oh, I know. Wait a minute. Let me think. I think that one might be a fib. So if we put a fib on from there to there, those are the rejections, although it slipped through off the 61.8. So technically then that's take profit. Take profit 1 at the 0, take profit 2 at minus 27, take profit 3 at the minus 61.8. So that is selling, and that is how much off the pitchfork? 3 pips. So I think that is a sell there. And the pivots, did it move up? Yeah. So if I get in that just to see what happens on AJ, slightly later in, if I've got it here, AJ. So I'm +5 pips on GCAD. AJ 76058. Five, 8. That's the volatility of GCAD. So stop loss in on that. So we'll see what happens with or JPY. Right. Let me put an alarm on that. Right, GCAD or JPY, Euro Ord. Nothing on that at the moment. He didn't have. Yes, he did have that on his list. That must have been. Again, I need to check and get because I've got some new scans. I had EuroCAD, a GN as a new scan as well, and NU, and I think actually there was a new scan. That's still coming down. So EA 9 o'clock, he was there. He maybe had a different scan from me. Well, that's heading up very nicely, but nothing for us until this level here. And that is 20 pips between the pitchfork and quarter theory. So could get in with a cheeky buy if it carries on up. But please check the scanner for latest scans. I need to get up to date with them, some more of them today. Euro Ord. J. Just wonder on AJ whether there was a new scan on that. I think there might have been. Yeah, that's right. So that was the 6th of August. So I'm working off a different scan, I think. I've got that one of the 10th of July. So AJ has a new scan on it. Minus 2.3 GCAD going back to baseline. Euro Ord, Euro USD, let's check on that one. Let's come up to the extensions. It's out of those extensions there. Euro USD. He didn't have that on his list this morning. He had GU, AUD CAD, Euro AUD, Euro CAD, Euro NZD, GJ, GU, USD Swiss franc, USHF, and or JPY. Just so you know, if you want to look at any of them before we go, I've given you those. So let me look at Euro USD. Trader's Way, that's that one there. So new scan there, which I haven't got, 11th of August. And that is 173. And that's moved off 54 pips now. So I think I want to finish by drawing this one. Time zone the same as your local, bottom right. X, 3rd of August at 1500. A, 6th of August. This is Paris time, so you'll need to adjust it for your own local time. B, just use this vertical line to look at your date stamp below. C, 6th at 1900, and D, 11th at 0200. If you're in doubt, just look for the highest or lowest point. But make sure you're on the same time zone. So this is H1, it says it up there on the left. Just use the same time zone. Time frame. So is this the one where oh, so it's just that the D point's moved again. No, it's all slightly different one. So what I'm going to do is just redraw this one, I think. So I've got I'm going to take this one back, not use this one. That's what I'm going to do. So 3rd of August at 1500. 6th of August at 08. That's the same. B, 6th of August at 1600. That's the same. C, 6th of August at 1900. That's the same. And D, 11th of August at 02. So that will do for that one. Because it's just made it slightly bigger, so there's no need. It's a duplicate in effect. The D point's moved and it's just drawn a bigger X point. Move that to the lowest one on the 1 minute. It doesn't matter about the pink drawing, it's the pitchfork that matters. I like to move it over there. The drawing. That's it. Lock those on, and that's done. So we had that big break in the retest back there. And it's strongly on its way up to that next level now. So that's our next alert line to set. Here. And we're going to see if it's going to do this. No, we're not. I'm lying. We're just into buys because it's not hit the median. That's your D point, and we need it to hit this solid white line here before we can take sells off it. So we're going to look at that point, and what we want to see is this up here, break and retest, and then up there and go. That's what we're going to look for, and get in on the after it's touched quarter theory. Euro USD, so your 10 pips will cover you by the time price has got up there, will cover you for the pitchfork as well as the quarter theory. So don't get in when it's in this trap. We saw that on a pair yesterday, because price can just be full of indecision until it is forced to make a decision, and it will be forced to make a decision at the latest when it's pinched right at the end here. It has to decide whether it's going to go up or down. But if we get in on a break and a retest here before it's hit that quarter theory, because they're so close together, only 10 pips, price can decide it's just going to range depending on the time of day, and we can just be stuck in consolidation. And that's one of the main points of trading on the 1 minute, is we don't get stuck in consolidation for hours. We're not that kind of trader. If you're trading this strategy, you like to be in and out of trades 45 minutes maximum, 4 hours, not, you know, absolute maximum, or leave or take profit overnight once you've got a stop profit in. We're not the type of traders that have 50 pip stop losses, 20, 30, 40, 50 pip stop losses that are on those longer time frames of hourly, 4 hourly, daily, swinging the big trades. We're getting our 20, 50 pips or more using a short-term strategy. So we don't like to sit in trades for a long time. So that's all I've got today. I'll look back here, see what's here. We're +5 on GCAD and -7 on or JPY, which could be that new scan that came up. So that's just shot back up there. And it's broken that upward channel. So I need to draw that new scan on. GCAD is coming down very nicely. That will, I'm pretty sure you can see the orange lines now across the pitchfork. It's well out of this channel. Pretty sure it'll come down to that 20 pips at that quarter theory now. So I'll just stop sharing, see if there's anything in the chat. Oh, Charlie's put a chart up. I like his charts. That's CAD JPY. He's looking for a retest back to the pitchfork and then go. That red line's his must be his trend line. It's got a 61.8 there, so he's put a fib on that, I think, which is this area here. So that's CAD JPY for a buy. And let me just come back to the chat. When it's between quarter three and the pitchfork, how do you judge the movement? Simply by it being seen the same as a channel, pinging off to the top side down and then rejecting off the bottom side and going back up. So like a heart monitor, and it will literally range because it is stuck in that, we call it a price trap. It's literally stuck in there until it decides to do a break and a retest to either the quarter theory or the pitchfork and come out of it. I hope that explains it. So if it's stuck in there, you have to put your alert on. That's GU, a GU alert's just gone off. Wait until it breaks out one way or the other. I don't trade either way if it's stuck between. Absolutely, I'm with Charlie on that one, totally. Yeah. Euro, Charlie says Euro USD D point has redrawn 11th of the 8th at 01 UK time. Yes, just got that. Thank you very much, Charlie. So we'll just have a quick look at that GU before we go because the alarm's just gone off. Oh, look at GCAD. Wow, that's the volatility of that pair. Yeah. That is amazing. That always gives me the willies, that does. So it's only done 10 pips. Oh, okay. Well, let's hope it's going to carry on its way down. So that's maybe the hourly fake out, but that's how wild. To be honest, I don't trade GCAD that much because of this. I find EN, EA, GJ I don't trade as much. So some of the other faster ones, but this GCAD I often find really wild and crazy. So we're now down at minus 8.2, and that's why I don't like GCAD. I don't like getting stuck in that sort of thing. Although it is wicking off the pitchfork, it's done that 10 pips. So hopefully that was a big break and retest after that smaller one that we were in, and that's what we want to see. And it will now behave itself and come back down under that 62 and carry on down. So maybe that, you see, that's the difficulty. And I know Warren was talking about this yesterday, these breaks and retests, that it's an imperfect science, isn't it? Because we didn't get a 10 pip one there. We've got a bigger one there, you know, but sometimes we haven't waited. And then the thing, you know, whatever pair we've been looking at has gone all its way down anyway. So it's just GU I was going to quickly look at before we go. So GU, we've got the orange crossed above the blue, strong push up on the hour, just wicking off between pitchfork and quarter theory. So it is a sell scan, but we can take buys or sells because it's hit the median. So let's break it down what it's telling us. The orange is saying buy. Let me just magnify it. So the orange is saying buy. The quarter theory is saying sell. Doji candle just rejected off. This is this price trap. How do you judge the movement? Don't trade when it's in there. Do not trade. 100% do not trade, because it can, any price answering that question, it can just do this. And just look back through any pair where you see that configuration, and you know, it can go on and do that for hours if it wants to. So orange is saying buy, pitchfork is quarter theory is saying sell. This is our 1 minute trend line. I probably prefer touches like, can do it quite tight. Touches all the way up there. The pitchfork is now saying sell, but you wouldn't want to get involved in this until you see the 62 starting to turn round, because it's still pointing upwards, so it's still pushing price up. So this is where it could end up ranging in there. 10 o'clock UK time, and it's already done. How many pips has it done? It's done 44, 45 pips move. Well, if we push that out like that, that is still an upward trend. Bit of a dip down testing the 15 minute, but that's still an upward trend there. So you've just got to watch this area here. It's still saying, orange is saying buy, and it's just now stuck in that area. It's got to decide what it wants to do. And those are our outer extensions. And we can take a buy or sell because it's already hit the median. So don't know what it wants to do. At the moment it's saying buy there, but it's trapped between that pitchfork and the quarter theory. As you can see, it's rejected off it twice. So it may not now make another move until it comes into the New York session, or it may carry on and may be able to push through up here. So that's all I've got for this morning. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you at 3 p.m. for the New York session for those of you who are coming on. And I'll try and get up to date with the rest of the scans before then. Thanks for joining. Bye.